Junction City Today fans, I am your host, Craig Beelick. You see enough of me, and don't worry, because you're not going to see a lot of me today because we got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about internet scams, what you can do to protect yourself, your company, whatever it is that you do online, because there are more and more of these coming along. They're getting increasingly sophisticated. They're starting to look like real stuff. This isn't the email you get from the Nigerian prince anymore. This is like the real McCoy sometimes. And I've got Eric here, and I've got Shane over there on the far side, and I'm going to let them talk to us and tell us about how we can avoid, and maybe even, this is the interesting part, we're going to hear about somebody that is actually taking steps to shut these guys down. Yes. I was going to say scumbags, but I didn't know if I could say scumbags like with enough emphasis to reflect how I feel
Honestly,
about these scumbags.
They feel like predators.
Exactly.
They're preying on people who are not as well versed in keeping themselves safe online.
Right.
And
that's a concern.
And it's getting harder and harder. It's getting a lot harder lately because the scams are becoming more sophisticated, like you said.
Yeah.
They're using email tactics, social hacking tactics. They'll get on people's Facebook pages and figure out their family and then call and pose as a person that they know. It's crazy. Yeah.
Good heavens. Okay, well, first off, let's talk about your companies and what it is that you guys do. Okay? Because I was interested in that, right, when you came in. You guys basically are hired guns with IT knowledge,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. Why don't you go ahead, Shane? Go ahead and start.
Okay, so what we do is we do IT service for small businesses and also home workers and homes, where we take care of all the computer needs, and so we have remotes. We can remote in, help the person or people on their computers, and we can also we monitor those also, and they show up on our dashboards and on our phones, all their computers, and throughout the company. And when there's something that starts to go wrong, a little issue, it shows up, and we can fix those problems before they become a big problem. And that can eliminate 70-80% of computer issues before they ever get.
Because computer problems, first off, there's the financial side of it, but then there's also the time. I mean, if you lose 4 days on your station or something like that, and I think a lot of people out there, I own a yogurt shop. I've got 10 employees. I've got a website and a social page, and, we don't do a lot with it. I ain't got anything to worry about, right?
Right.
No, well, and that's just this is a kind of a confusion that a lot of business owners fall into, is they think they can handle it all, and their company's growing, right, and they're hiring on new employees, and they think that they can do the IT themselves, or maybe they hire somebody internally and one of their employees knows a little bit about computers. And so what we do is we come in and we actually take that burden off their shoulders. We're what's called a managed IT service.
Okay.
And it's a more proactive service, and we're looking for the problems before they happen. And we're also working with the employees to help educate them on the security issues. Like, what do they need to watch for?
Yeah.
And like these kind of emails, stay away. Just delete them. If you don't recognize who they're coming from, get rid of them.
As a small business, you can get attacked with ransomware.
Oh, yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
And they can shut your website down, make it look like you're closed or out of business.
Yep.
Or under, like the yogurt shop, they can post a thing saying you're under suspicion of the health department or something like that. I mean, there's all kinds of, every time we invent a mousetrap, the mouse gets smarter.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely almost a war of attrition. The bad guys, as it were, tend to stay one step ahead because the good guys have to play catch up most of the time. And that's changing a little bit with newer technologies, artificial intelligence. They're learning to stay on top of things better.
What are some of the newer scams? At the beginning of this, I mentioned the old email from the Nigerian prince and all that, but
emails still work. I mean, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I almost fell into one like a few months ago. I'm an IT guy, right?
Really?
So, because I ordered something and I'm when is it coming? And I get this thing that says from Amazon, click here to see your order, and I'm about to click on but I always, always look to where it's coming from. And in the address, if you can't see address, push the arrow key, the little caret, and it'll show you where it's coming from. If it's coming from somewhere other than thatcompany.com, don't click on it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't click on it, but I was like, wow, how many people have clicked on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
so
similar
what?
ones.
Explain to me what happens when you do that. Okay, when someone falls for that, like what would have happened to you when you did that?
I would have been taken to a website. It would look like Amazon or whatever, and then they would start talking to me. Probably, I didn't try it, but I've seen this before. Yeah. And they'll want to,
we had an error with your credit card. Could you just re-enter the number?
Yeah, they'll want you to re-enter your username and password for the site. Give you, they'll be like, oh, well, just give us the credit card number and we'll just run it now.
You know it's a bad site when you put your username and password in and it's wrong. You typed it in wrong by accident, and it still works.
Yeah.
That's a really good kind of snoopy trick, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done it many times to show people.
No.
It doesn't matter what you put in; they think it's your real stuff.
They're after something, and most likely it's your money.
Yeah, and a common one that even my mother has fallen for, unfortunately, is they call it a scare ad. So they're just browsing around doing their normal thing on the internet, right? They hit a site that has banner ads, the ads you see along the outer side, okay? And these tend to are not, security-wise, are not very protected. So what'll happen is a big red flashing screen will come up saying, your system is compromised. Call this number and talk to a Microsoft representative. And because it's flashing at them, and usually there's a sound, an alert sound, it scares them. And before they know it, they're calling the number. They're talking to somebody. That person gets them to remote them into their computer, and suddenly that person has access to your computer, and they will tell you anything that'll scare you, even if it's not true. My mother, unfortunately, got sucked into that, gave them her credit card.
Oh, my God.
And she got nervous and finally called me, and I'm like, Mom, shut the lid on the laptop. Just shut it off, okay? I'll be by, and we'll take care of this. Call your bank. Change the credit card number.
They can actually get mean when they get these these people on the phone. They bully them into giving them the information and giving them the credit card information or even bank account. And I had one client who called me about their next door neighbor who was in their 80s, and it was so sad because she fell for that same type of thing, and she thought it was Microsoft in her machine fixing it, but they were adding all this bad stuff to it, taking over, and they billed her $600 that day, and the next day they billed her $1,200 on her credit card.
Wow! Shane.
And I fixed everything up for him, for like $150, and got her on monitoring, so this and antivirus and protection, so she doesn't have this type of problem.
Oh, that's so sad, and it's easy to do. I mean, there's the obvious ones. I mean, I got an email just a little while ago saying, we accessed your camera and we recorded you doing something embarrassing. And I was just laughing, like going, well, first off, I didn't do that. Okay, but it said, if you want to see the video, if you think we're kidding, click right here and watch your own video.
If you're guilty, maybe so if somebody's guilty, then we do it.
I click there, and instead it opens me up to malware or whatever that is. That kind of stuff. And then there's all of the other things that, like you say, it looks like it coming from Comcast. Something like that. Not throw Comcast under the bus. That's just the word I chose. But and it says, we've noticed a hack into your email box, but we can fix it. Don't worry, we got you. Just click here. That kind of stuff. That kind of. So, I mean, how do you separate the bad from the good?
So sometimes these are, they're pretty sophisticated, and they're getting better. Their language.
What happens, like if your package is late with Amazon? How do they contact you or?
So I get an email saying that.
Yeah. Typically, they will never call you. They will send an email.
But it comes from Amazon.
Yeah, that's why it's good, like Shane was saying.
Correctly spelled.
Not
Amazon with an S.
Well, to check that URL that it's coming from. Because they'll spoof the name, but if you open that up, the email usually is not... It's not from Amazon, or it's not from Microsoft or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And ways that they can kind of avoid this with the emails, they are getting more sophisticated. If there's any doubt at all, just call somebody, anybody. and talk to somebody. Don't feel pressured to give into anything. Don't feel you have to call. This is one thing that people need to know. Microsoft, all these big companies will never call you. They will never ask you to call them. Okay, they'll never say something. Oh, your system was detected. They don't care. They really don't. Yeah. They don't. It costs them money to provide support that way. Yeah. They're leaving you responsible for your computer.
So do you guys have a website? I mean, how do people find out? How do they get in touch with you? Obviously, we've got your name right down there on the
so they can go to Tekutah, tekutah.com, and there's contact information there along with some blog posts on how to keep yourself safe and information about our business.
Are you guys no job too big, no job too small kind of thing? Or?
We like to focus on a lot of the smaller businesses. They tend to be the ones that need a lot of the help. Bigger corporations, will help. But they tend to have internal IT departments that we might work with, we might not. But
on certain projects.
But we love helping the smaller companies that have like anywhere from 5 to 50 computers, right in that range. They're the ones that seem to have the most need for IT help.
Okay, and you're internal. You're not so much. You're not hardware. You're software.
We do both.
Oh, you're both.
Hardware, we do both.
So if you need, if you guys will come out. And,
if people need help getting a server built, a network laid out, workstations replaced, or just end user support.
What about when you're the person and you get the new Tiger 10 software or something like that, and then you install it and it doesn't work. And obviously, if you've got a tech line, all you got to do is call, wait 9 hours on the line. To find out that they don't know what's going on.
We can help them sometimes in those type of situations where sometimes it's interaction with the hardware or just user error. Okay. We won't say user error, but we can help them, and it's usually cheaper than for the time you're going to spend on tech support.
I cannot, no matter what I've done, get my new Apple software to work on my realistic 8-track. I don't know what it is.
Hey, you and my dad, you just stuck on 8-track.
It just will not work. I can't figure it out. As we wrap up, what's the one thing you want people to know? What do you want them to take away from this episode?
They have people that will support them. They don't have to be ashamed that they don't know anything about computers.
Oh, that's a great point.
I get that all the time. People are like, "Oh, I'm computer stupid," or "I'm computer dumb." And I'm like,
I don't even know how to turn it on.
You're not dumb. You're not stupid. It's just not what you focused on. It's not your forte.
Right.
You don't know how to tear down the engine of your car. You go to a mechanic for that. Guess what? There's IT people who love helping people.
And if you're a mechanic and you do know how to tear down the engine of your car, and that's your specialty, you still might not know computers because that's not your gig.
That's right.
It's not your gig.
Yep.
Not everybody can do everything. I know you think you can sit in this chair and do my job, but trust me, you can't.
I don't want to. I do what I do because I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do.
I like having you guys here. Let's have you guys back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. It would be nice. Now, before we go, we do want to mention one thing, and that was right at the very beginning of the show. I talked about a guy that's getting revenge. Yep. Really putting it to these characters. And we're going to start showing some of his videos right here on whatever channel you're watching this on. I always say channel 17, but people get it other place. Tell me about this guy. Who is he?
So his name's Jim Browning.
Yeah?
He lives in England.
Yeah?
He's a cybersecurity expert, and he decided he got fed up with these scammers taking advantage of people who just don't know any better. So he uses his skill to scam the scammers is really the best way to put it.
I love it.
He is so smart. There's a video of him. He figured out, he got a scammer on the phone, got him to remote into his computer, and then he reverses the connection. He figured out how to get into the security camera system.
Oh my God.
He figured out how to find out their real names.
Oh my God.
And he would spend 3 months collecting information on this one particular scam company, and he turned it over to Interpol and got him shut down.
Oh wow.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Hero.
And the first time I watched, he did that same type of thing, remoted in, and he got the money back for the person that they just scammed.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I was like, isn't that
smart,
awesome?
Man.
I mean,
this is great.
For people, if they're looking to learn something, his videos are great. They're clean. He's very soft-spoken, very polite.
Yeah.
And
he's English.
Yes, exactly. And he's got so much good information that people can learn from. It's amazing.
And it's incredibly eye-opening how many scammers are out there.
Yeah.
And they're It seems like they're
business.
usually from India and Pakistan, or but they can be anywhere.
Yeah,
so.
they can be from anywhere.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of small businesses out there, and some of you are watching this right now, and maybe you don't think you're at risk. Maybe you don't do a whole lot in the online arena, but trust me, if you have got a computer in your company, you are vulnerable in 150 different ways.
No computer
and
is
let
safe.
these guys help you. Call these guys, and they seem like nice guys, Eric and Shane. I like them.
Tekutah.com.
Yep.
Tekutah.com.
Tekutah.
Right there. Let's don't get scammed. Don't get scammed. These guys will be worth it. I absolutely promise you on that. I'm Craig Bielik. I am your host for Junction City Today. Eric and Shane from Tekutah have been my guests. Obviously, if you have a question, give them a call. And don't get scammed, okay? I mean, if you're going to get scammed by anybody, let Craig scam you, okay? That's the only scam you should fall for. But I can't even think of a scam. I don't even know what I would do, but I'm not that smart. But you have been watching Junction City Today, and we appreciate you very much.
Thanks, Rick.